Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, 12/11. Friday, 12/11. We're almost done. So after this, practically 3 weeks left in the semester, and we're finished. Woohoo! Okay, today what we're talking about is solving rational equations. Okay, so rational means fraction, remember? So we're basically going to be solving fractional equations. Okay, here's an example. I got a fraction equal to a fraction, right? I got to solve for x. Before I solve for x, though, I have to use a little bit of my superior brain power and realize that, wait a minute, there's some things that will make Cookie Monster sad. So first thing I want to do is, I don't want to divide by 0, because if I divide by 0, I make Cookie Monster sad. It's undefined if I divide by 0. So when I take a look at example 1, before I do anything, I want to make sure that if I get an answer of -8, that I throw it out, because it's possible. So x cannot equal -8, and x cannot equal 7 over 2. If you solve for x, and you get 7 over 2, and that would, both of these would make you divide by 0. So as I solve this problem, if I come along with either one of these, I'm going to throw that answer out, okay? So it cannot be these. So let's solve. So first of all, what I want to do is just get rid of the fraction. So let's try and eliminate the fraction. So what I'm going to do is multiply this side by an x plus 8. When I multiply by x plus 8, it cancels it out. Well, I do the same thing on this side, right? So when you solve for fractions, what you do on one side, you do this side. So what I'm trying to do right now is just eliminate the fraction. I want to get rid of the fraction. So if I multiply by x plus 8, then that will cancel with that, right? And on this side, I want to multiply by, well, I want to multiply by 2x minus 7. So I'm also going to multiply this one by a 2x minus 7. 2x minus 7. And multiply this side by a 2x minus 7, right? And what happens is that cancels with that. And what are you left with? Well, I'm left with 2. This 2. What am I left with? I'm left with 2 times a 2x minus 7 equals a 5 times an x plus 8. Okay, so what I think is easier is to remember that we just cross multiply. So if you have a fraction equal to a fraction, a over b equals b over, c over d, my bad. If you just cross multiply, you're doing the same thing. That times that equals that times that, right? And that's the easiest way to do it. Is I'm going to multiply up the 2x minus 7 up here, and multiply the x plus 8 over here, and then I'm going to solve. Okay? And I'll show you that when we get to example 2, because I'm going to shortcut this much more. So if I go ahead and multiply, I'll get a 4x minus 14 equals, distribute, a 5x plus a 40. Okay. Solve for x, so I'm going to go minus 4x minus 4x. A negative 14 equals x plus 40. Okay, doing great. It's easy. Minus 40 minus 40. I get a negative 54 equals x. Okay, now I like that answer because it's not -8. Excuse me. And I'm always sneezing in this room. There must be something in here I'm allergic to. So it's not -8. It's not 7/2. So negative 54 is my answer. Easy. Sorry, guys. Man. Okay, so now let's do example 2, a little bit easier. Okay. Before I do anything, though, I do know that x cannot equal 3 and x cannot equal 6. So I have a fraction equal to a fraction. Let's cross multiply, meaning I'm going to take my x minus 3 and multiply it up here. So let's see what I get. I'm going to get a x minus 3 times an x plus 2. Okay, and I'm going to cross multiply here. So I'm going to get a x plus 1 times an x minus 6. Okay, now the fraction's gone. I like that. Let's solve. Okay, I'm going to have to FOIL. X times x is x squared. X times a negative 6 is negative 6x. Golly, 1 times x, so 1x, and 1 times a negative 6 is negative 6. Okay? If I simplify that a little bit, x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals, well, let's figure out what this equals. There's got to be something in this room I'm allergic to. So then, I'll do on the other side, could be just the venting. X times x, x squared, x times 2 is a 2x. Negative 3x minus 6, let's simplify that, x squared minus a 1x minus 6. Okay, now at this point in time, I got to solve for x. So one of the things I see right off the bat is x squared and x squared. So I'm just thinking, hey, if I subtract x squared from both sides, it's gone. Like that. And then if I add 6 to both sides, I'll have a negative 5x equals heck is a negative 1x. Now, okay, what the heck? Well, I can do this. So let's go plus 5x. And this is 0. And then if I divide by 4, I get 0. So x equals 0. Now that should work because what we said x couldn't be was 3 or 6. 0 is a number, so 0 is our answer. Sorry about the sneezing. Okay, let's move on. Number 3. Okay, number 3, what I have is 3 fractions. So a couple of things I can do. I can get a common denominator between these two. Or, and that'll work, multiply this one by x plus 2, and this by x plus 1, and add them, and then I have a fraction equal to fraction. Because what I really want to do is get a fraction equal to a fraction, right? But what I see, because I'm smart and so are you, is if we bring this fraction over here and subtract those two, then I already have a common denominator. Okay, so first of all, x cannot equal negative 1, and x cannot equal negative 2. I am so sorry, you guys. Golly, it's got to be the venting that makes me sneeze in here. So then what am I going to do? Well, let me bring this over. Let's subtract it. So I'm going to have a 3. This is just a shortcut. This just makes it easier for me. I'll have a 15 over x squared plus 2. Subtract, 'cause I'm going to subtract the whole thing, 4 over x plus 2. Okay, now, these two have a common denominator. Check it out. They really do. They have a common denominator. I like that. So I'm going to just put them together. And on top, I'll have an 11. And then I have a fraction equal to a fraction. So then I can cross multiply. I'll take and bring my x plus 1 over here. So I'll have a x plus 1 times 11. And I'll take my x plus 2 and I'll cross multiply over here. And I'll have a 3 times an x plus 2. Okay, then let's just solve. Okay, I'm going to get a 3x plus 6 equals, I'm distributing on 11x plus 11. I'm running out of room, so I'll scoot it over here. Minus 3x is an 8x. So the 6 equals an 8x plus 11 minus 11 gives me a negative 5 equals 8x. Divide, and I'll get negative 5/8 equals x. And I think I can keep that answer because the only thing it couldn't be was negative 1 and negative 2. Okay, so far so good. All right, example 4, the last one, the hard one, but we can do this. So before you do anything, what I need to do is probably put these two together. So I'm going to need a common denominator between these two. So this is going to take a little bit more work, but I can do it. So the first two fractions I want to subtract. I want to combine these two. So I really want to, in a sense, combine these two fractions. So I need to get a common denominator. So I'll multiply the first fraction by x over x. And I'll multiply this fraction by an x plus 4 times an x plus 4. So I get a common denominator. So my common denominator really is simply going to be an x times an x plus 4. And then I'm going to have a 12x minus a 7x, don't forget minus 28. Minus 28 because the negative 7 times 4. Okay, and that's going to equal 22 over x squared plus 4x. Okay, now I'm going to simplify this a little bit more. So I'm going to get a 5x minus 28 over an x times an x minus 4, right? And if I factor this, I get an x times an x plus 4. Now, at this point, they have a common denominator, don't they? So, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm going to try to make this problem even easier for me. One thing I know for sure is that x cannot equal 0 or negative 4. Okay, I need to keep that in mind because that may happen. So here's what I see. If I multiply both sides by x times x plus 4, x times x plus 4, it just cancels it out, right? So if they have the same denominator, what I really want to do is just look at the numerators. So I want to solve 5x minus 28 equals 22. Okay, and then I'm going to solve. I'm going to add 28 plus 28 plus 28. I get 5x equals, let's see, that's 50, I think. Divide by 5 and x is 10. Now let's see. X equals 10. I think I can keep that answer because it just can't be 0 or negative 4. Okay, and that's all I have. So please do the homework, and then for fourth period, we're going to have a test Tuesday, and for first period, we'll have the test on Thursday. Okay, there we go.